All right. Let's figure this thing out. There we go. Hey guys. So, just going to use that word a lot more. What's up? We did a little pitch day yesterday, and today is going to be the follow up for that. It's going to be a pretty short stream because we want to get ready for whatever we're going to work on next week. We had this poll up to kind of go through things, but we're going to come back to this later. It's kind of interesting today because we're in this like flux period between projects, and because of that there's like free time in the office in a sense. Like we're kind of like just catching up on things and going through kind of what's going on in the world and trying to figure out, you know, if things are getting worse or if they're getting better in regards to like COVID virus and stuff. And I think it's actually kind of cool because well, not cool, I think good is the right thing to say, that, you know, originally this would look like it was going to be the end of the world. It looks like it'd be a freaking apocalypse. But now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. People seem like the storm is over with COVID, and we're just now just hoping that the numbers stay the same and all that. There was this really cool tool I was looking at yesterday. I just want to bring that up. You know, everybody's life has kind of been changed by this, in this never going to be the same way. Hey, what's up, Noah? It's like never going to be the same again, right? There's like even IDEO has a contest open right now. One of my friends just emailed it to me, and Noah, you were supposed to be on the email, but I think you got your email wrong. And essentially, like IDEO, let's see if I can bring it up. IDEO pitch COVID-19. I don't know if they published anything yet. Yeah, so they literally are saying like, we want people, designers and creative firms, to see if you can pitch something to them. I don't know what the date is on it, but essentially it's like this idea of IDEO is this huge creative firm. You've seen things that they've worked on, and they really want to kind of say, okay, what can we do as creative people to create a better world because of the whole COVID-19 thing. I don't know if the challenge is really enumerated here very well, but it's interesting. Like their thing was like current solutions to the problem right now was part of what they want to see. But the other part was really interesting, where they're like, what about the future? Like how can we make the future better? How can we make it so if this ever happens again, it's not such a giant mess? And I don't know if you guys are interested in something like that. You can go to openideo.com and check it out. I'm sure like it's IDEO, so they probably want a pretty good presentation of your idea. But yeah, something you could check out. I'm trying to see, what does the form look like? Oh, they just threw this thing together. Totally threw it together. Did this already happen maybe? I don't know. April 7th? Share communication. IDEO hosted a webinar. Huh. Because I think there's some like a really low-hanging fruit in that space that's like going to be hard to build, but if all you're doing is coming up with the idea for it and letting IDEO's team either implement it or find funding for it or whatever, IDEO is a big mouthpiece. They have a big bullhorn to which they can tell people about things. And I mean, there's obvious stuff. I think the easiest thing they could do, or like we could do with technology, easiest thing would be contact tracing, because we have the data. It's on the phone. Like, you know where the person's been, and you know, I don't know what the preciseness of that is. But I assume looking at Google, it's pretty good. Like, I think Google can figure out if you're like in this house or the house next door, right? Like they have that level of like precision on their passive GPS systems. And it would just make a lot of sense to say like, hey, if somebody gets sick, you notify your phone, or your phone knows that you're sick because you're at the hospital, right? And like then you can just go and back and see where all of the crisscrossing has happened with all these other people, and produce actual like messaging to these people that says like, hey, you were near somebody that tested positive for whatever the heck it is, so you need to go get tested. Because right now all we're doing is like, we're doing nothing like that. And In China, they have a solution for it, but it's really weird. They make people scan QR codes wherever they go. It's amazing. Like, it's an amazing kind of weird way to do it. I don't know if they don't have GPS or system. I don't know. GPS systems are, I don't know. But that was their secondary system. It was like, if you're traveling through the country, you have to download an app and scan in where you are. And that app, in fact, tells you where people are infected. So you'd be driving around and it'll be like, there's an infected guy in that apartment building. Drive the other way. Really interesting. And yeah, I think so. So Noah, yeah, I think proactive monitoring is it's the right way to look at it, right? You need something that, hey, thanks for 2 months, Nick. Thanks, man. You need something that's more like, what's the right word for it? Like, smarter. I think smarter is the right word, because this whole thing of like just saying, okay, the virus sprung up somewhere, and now we're just going to have to deal with a big influx of hospital stuff. That's not good, because people are still going to get sick and they're still going to die. So what can you do to actually prevent that? I don't know. Because I genuinely think, like, in the future, we joke about this, like, my wife and I joke about this, that, like, is this just going to be a thing where you don't shake hands with anybody anymore? You don't go to concerts anymore. You don't leave the house without a mask on. There's good things that can come out of this, but it doesn't mean to go that far of like, there was a pre-COVID-19 world and a post-COVID-19 world. And like, that difference is so huge that it's like saying to people, like, I remember what it was like before the internet, you know? So I don't know. I think that there's like an interesting thing to explore here. IDEO is giving a platform for this. And you guys, I don't know if you're interested in this kind of stuff. At least if you're interested, you could at least follow it, right? They might do some vetting of the idea, kind of like we did yesterday. But yeah, I think it's a great thing that they're doing, for sure. We're literally living in the Death Stranding game plot world right now. Kind of, but the difference is when somebody dies from this thing, it doesn't explode and make a giant shadow monster or whatever. It doesn't like pollute the land forever. But I know the Chinese were so afraid of the spread through corpses that they were like mandatory cremations for everybody, which is crazy. Like, it's kind of a crazy thing. And even though it feels like we're kind of moving through this thing now, let me tell you, I don't think that it's over, right? So this is the IMHE, which is the model. If you listen to the news, if you like watch the news and they say, oh, we have these curves are flattening and such, it's the IMHE model that they're using. It's a very pessimistic model, and this is how they know these dates, because these guys are pretty good at what they do, you know. And you can see there's the line in the middle is the consensus line from the model. And then the bottom line, like the area graph here, the top of it is like obviously like the worst case scenario, and the bottom is the best case scenario. And this is taking into account a ton of data. Like, it's not just, you know, a little bit of math associated to numbers. It's a ton. Hi, Comet. How's it going, man? You're not dead. Good. We don't have to send the death letters out. So I mean, like, this is pretty interesting too. They have the peak projected for the U.S. in like 3 days. And you know what's weird is, like, do you really worry about the U.S. or do you just worry about your state? So if we go to, we're in Florida, so let's just see how that's looking. Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Governor DeSantis, for this thing. So the U.S. is going to peak like in 3 days. Florida, however, it's not even bad here yet, right? Oh, come on, bro. Governor DeSantis just took his sweet ass time getting this stuff in. Yeah, let's go through Florida really quick. I just want to see. So that's good, though. That purple line up there is the capacity for the healthcare system. And it looks like even in a worst case scenario, we wouldn't hit capacity. But that's hospitalizations. Let's see the stuff that really kind of scares people. So the peak deaths per day they predict in Florida would max go to 430. But could be as low as 30. So that's a humongous range, and their model must not know, because I mean, look at this. The hard lines, not the dotted lines, are the real data they're plugging into the system. And this thing looks like, I mean, that's essentially just doing like a middle finger, right? We're saying, F you, coronavirus, we're Florida, we don't care. So if I know what a middle finger looks like, that thing should just level right back down. and just just go right through. And that was the worst day right there. Hey, sick mofo, what's up, man? So I mean, the interesting part about this model though is well, all the models is that the IMHE's put out is they look like this. They don't have any spiking after June, and this is my big question mark. Is that the truth? Is that like what do they base that part off of? Because you see this whole, that's not the worst curve. It could look a lot worse than that. That tall guy right there is pretty bad, but this one right here is not. It's not the worst curve. It sucks because it still means that they're predicting 4,300 people die from this, and at this point, only 300 people have died in Florida or something. And so that means there's 4,000 more people that are going to end up not seeing the next Christmas, taken away from their family. Like that's crazy bad. But what's interesting is like it goes to June, it levels out in June, and like from June 1st to August 1st, they're like, yeah, some more people will die, but only like 20. How is that the thing? Because people, when this starts to happen, people are just going to be like, let's open back up. Let's go back to the beach. Let's go to restaurants again. Or maybe not. Maybe the post-COVID world is going to look a lot different. Like a whole lot different. I don't know. Look at Comet Blazer here knows math. Look at this. Mathematically included rate of increase is basically the total cases divided by 17. Huh. That seems like simple math. We could write that with JavaScript. Let's take a look at California, though. Because California apparently has their crap under control, right? And I think that the silver lining, at least for the U.S., is this number here, 60,415 total. The original number that we heard, like the original one that came out in the press conferences and said, was 2.2 million. So from 2.2 million to 60,000. I really wonder, is that because we locked the country down? Or is that because treatment's getting better? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know. Or is it because it's not as bad as they thought? I don't know. So California, they did a great job, right? Like look at this tiny little bump. I mean, it's their peak deaths per day predicted like 70. And for a state the size of California, that's bananas. And even in the worst case in the model, they're thinking it's 196, which is like, let me just state something so we're clear about it. This is not the flu. This is not a seasonal flu. This is way worse. It's killing people that the flu would normally not kill. However, more people died to the flu when it's just running rampant than that. More people die in car accidents every day than that number. It doesn't mean don't take this seriously, but in terms of relative like death, that's I imagine if you were to like go out and find stats on this and said like all cause mortality, deaths from all causes, I bet SARS-CoV-2 is producing because of the lockdowns and stuff, all cause mortalities I bet is down. I would say it's like a no-brainer. Yep. Less people are having heart attacks, less people are getting murdered, less people are having car accidents, less people are getting injured on the job and dying. I bet it's an all-cause thing. So like it evens out to be like, yeah, less people are in fact dying right now in general. And even this, like they're thinking, oh yeah, for a state of the size of California, it's like what? 40, 50 million people plus illegal immigrants. It's 1,600 people dying. Like that's nothing. I don't know. So hopefully everybody else though is getting a lot less anxious about this, but still it's kind of scary because you imagine you're healthy and you're in your 20s or your 30s. There are people that just like get it and die, and I would love to know why. Yeah, Davies. And that's the thing that people bring up is that like there's some stupid Twitter math thing going around where it's like, look at how bad it is in the U.S. compared to France and compared to Spain and Italy. And it's like, yeah, but you're not using rates. You're using like raw numbers. And if you combined France, Italy, Germany, Spain, and got to the number of population that we have here, then it's U.S. is doing actually fantastic. And I don't think we're underreporting here. I, in fact, think that we're kind of over-reporting here because there's a lot of resistance anytime it comes up that they shouldn't be testing corpses and stuff like that. Like they sure are. They're testing everything they can. They're testing tigers, Let's see. Well, turn that music off. Look at this. 1.7 million views from Abacababa. Well, you guys can watch this another time. I thought this was going to be short. See, these things are a little, like, I saw this chart today. I think that they're completely missing the chart that, because this just scares people. There's like cholera. Cholera is pretty treatable, though, because it'll get out to here, and then you're like, whoa, oh, actually, hold on. Look at that. Oh, pig flu. Look at it go. Whoa. Watch out. That's killing people. And nobody freaked out about that. I was in college when that was going on. I remember seeing it on the news. I remember them being like, can't go to Mexico anymore. And yeah, that thing killed a lot of people. And I bet though, at the end of the day, COVID will probably end up killing 1 million people just because it's such an aggressive virus and they don't really know how to treat it. There's just so many, the doctors are still trying to figure out, like, should we put people on ventilators or not? That's crazy that they're just like, we don't even know. We don't know what's happening with that. But they really should, with something like this, especially with that scary climb, they should really overlay something like, I don't know, the Spanish flu, because that wiped out like 30 million people, and it did it quick. It did it in 2 waves, like a year, just 1 year, boom, 30 million people are dead. This is genuinely scary stuff. Oh yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, it's fear porn, man. Comment that's fear porn. It sucks that happened, but it's fear porn. Yes, people die. You know what? I was in the house when my dad died. It wasn't pleasant. It was peaceful, but it wasn't pleasant. People die. It happens. And like, I didn't pull my phone out and, make a big deal that it took like 6 hours for them to get him. And, like it sucks, but it's all relative, I think. Like that just is going to happen. People get sick, they die. We don't have that much time on the planet, On top of all this stuff, like, what really makes this whole thing even more difficult is like all the, all the life changes that are going on. Like the worst one that I'm dealing with right now, like we started a business, worst time possible. But I mean, like, it's just so many adjustments. Like, you can't order food anymore. You can't go to restaurants. Your family gets weird. Like, you're getting check-in from family. I've got like my stupid brother like moved in upstairs because he doesn't have anywhere else to go. And there's just like absolutely nothing normal anymore. It's like a new normal. My wife doesn't go anywhere. We don't have babysitters. Like, it's just super weird. My poor wife just can't get anything done anymore. She's just like, I get 2 hours of free time a day when my daughter sleeps, and that's all she gets. Oh, and a little bit later in the day, but she's like too tired to do anything. Such a weird thing. I think the other thing that's really weird too is like everybody started to work remotely, and I saw some stories today that I kind of wanted to look into because I think it's kind of make for an interesting topic. And we will be getting to whatever the heck we're picking, but I think that, I don't know, it's nice to talk about this stuff. I have a deposition coming up in 2 weeks. Weird. Like, I've never been deposed before. I've never had to do any of this crap before. But my friend is going through a divorce, and it's not going very well. And his wife decided to depose all of his friends. So like 20 of us got deposed. So I've got to go. I originally was going to go into, I don't know what it is, like an office. I don't know. And they sit you down and they say like, all right, raise your right hand, and, like swear in the Bible and whatever the heck they do. And they take your testimony. So they ask you a bunch of questions. You don't get questions up front. And you can answer them however you want to, because you're not really, I don't think they're allowed to really like badger you on it. So you just have like 1 of 4 answers. You say, like, if you don't know anything about it, you say, I don't know. If you don't remember the details and they're trying to get details out of you, you just say, I don't remember, if it's a hard no, you just say the hard no and just stop right there. And if it's a yes no and it's a hard yes, you say yes. And that's essentially how you make it through a deposition that's the Hillary Clinton way of making it through a deposition, right? And I think, if there's stuff that I can do to help my friend out, like, I think she's trying to go after him a little bit. And I know him. I've known him for a little while, but I know enough about his character that I don't think he's a bad guy. And if there's anything I can do to sort of be like, yeah, he's a good dad and like he's responsible and the whole thing, like I'll make sure I can pitter patter that in. But it's crazy. I was going to go in and do this and I was supposed to go back in March. They rescheduled it and said like, I basically asked for the reschedule. I was like, look, world's getting crazy. Unless you guys are spraying down the room, I'm not coming in. So they said, okay, let's move it to April 22nd. And I was like, okay, sure. And now April 22nd is getting closer. And they said, I didn't even know this is an option because I was going to have to go to this place. It's like 30 minutes away. I was going to have to just like, ruin 3 hours of my day basically to go do this deposition, 4 hours. I don't know. And I had asked them, I said, look, do you want to pay me for this? And they said no. But I was like, look, my professional rate is $300 an hour. So you guys should pay me for not having time to work on other stuff. But they weren't going to pay me. So I get the lawyer to kind of work with me on this. And she's like, hey, we're all working remotely. Do you want to just do this over a Zoom call? And I was a Zoom call? Like this was an option the whole time? We could have just done a Zoom call? Like, are you kidding me? Like you wanted me to get in a car, drive my ass out to your stupid office, swear on a Bible, whatever the heck it is, sit in the room, feel weird because you're sitting in a room with other people. They're sizing you up. You're sizing them up. You have to wear pants. Like it's just not something I want to do. The whole time Zoom call was an option, right? I think it's kind of crazy. So Zoom is an interesting thing and they've been in the news lately, right? And there was even like that whole thing that happened with Zoom, that happened with this other company where like Zoom's stock ticker is ZM, right? And then there's some other company, I don't know where we could go to look up stock tickers, where I can just type it in. Some other company has ZOOM. And because so many people are on onto this company, get out of here, pop-ups. Because so many people are like, whoa, Zoom is a thing. They're just finding out that Zoom is a thing. Can I see more? Did I just get one day here? This happened. This happened because people thought this company, Zoom Technologies Inc., which is an OTC, it's a pink stock. It's a pink stock. This is like dudes in boiler rooms are calling old ladies and saying like, you should buy this stock. It went from trading at $2, okay, to a peak of $20. I'm sorry, almost $21. And it's still trading way above anywhere it's ever traded in the past year. Look at this. This has been a company for how long? At least 5 years. What about 10 years? Okay, so 10 years ago, it was a real company back here. And then most OTC stocks slowly, I would just take a guess. I'm not sure. Don't sue me, Zoom Technologies Inc. Slowly, the company probably bled out. It couldn't become profitable. And so it was hovering at 11 cents a share in 2015. Whoa, that's not even a cent. A half cent a share in 2016. A tenth of a penny in 2017. 1 penny. Oh, that's a big jump. 1 penny in 2018. 28 cents in 2019. And then today, $10 a share. Because dummies on the market are like, literally somebody called their broker and said, buy Zoom. And the broker typed, what's the ticker for it? I don't know. I think it's ZOOM. Okay, good. That's the one. Boof. Look at that. That's crazy. You'd have to be a crazy person. Why would anybody? I mean, look at this. Yeah, not even for. I would say $2 is wrong because I mean, if you go back, a buck a share, and because this is an OTC, I don't think we can see some of the other pieces of this that are important to a stock. Let's see if we can see market cap. I don't think we can see that. I love that their competitors are like Netgear. like no, I don't. Who knows what this does? SEC suspended trading in 2 stocks. Is this thing? And look, they're catching news for Zoom video communications. Look at that. So like even the ticker's confused. Unreal. So anyways, the real Zoom company hasn't been doing too bad. Like if you look at Zoom here in January, was trading at $68 a share. Let's just see what it bottomed out at before anything of this stuff was happening. $62.50 a share, right? And all the way spiked up the same day the other one spiked up to $160 a share. This isn't a tiny company; it's a publicly traded company, led by this guy Eric Yuan. Isn't that like money? Wouldn't that be like my name is Greg Dollar Bill? That's a great name, Greg Dollar Bill. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So we've got this huge spike. The company's worth a lot. This isn't like a startup. This is a $34 billion company. Okay, unreal. $34 billion company. That's a juggernaut. It's a juggernaut. It's a big company. And the thing that I wanted to talk about that I thought was interesting from a tech perspective was that they're having trouble with they have an exploit or something like this. So what I guess people were doing was like Zoom produces some sort of a link that you can use to join the video conference, right? And I've used other video conference services where they do the same thing. It's just like a link. It's just a straight up like, let's open up a notepad. It would literally look like website.com/conference/Omatum. And like anybody with that link can just jump in, right? I think that's what Zoom had. But I mean, come on. I think most of us here are developers or know tech a little bit. That's not an exploit to just be like, this was a decision that they made to use this. And, maybe they had obfuscation in that. So it'd be like website.com conference/googly gook, right? Some UUID. And what people were doing apparently is they were creating, they had bots, and the bot would scan that space here and reply. So probably do some code 200 ? If that was a real thing, right? So it would kind of like go through and just sort of say, okay, they're generating unique IDs for these calls or for these conferences. Right now is winning. Hey, Haxified, man, thank you for the sub. Thanks, buddy. So now we know his real name. So comment. I would love to hear your story. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this thing though, because I think it's such a tech news thing. So the bot would scan the space, code 200 if it was a real thing, which is essentially let you just join a conference, right? And then people would Zoom bomb, and they would just join your conference and start playing fart noises or something like that. I don't really know what a Zoom bomb would look like. The only thing I'm addicted to right now is thanks for 8 months, Noah. Thanks, man. So this, to me, is this an exploit? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't think that's an exploit. I don't think that's what an exploit looks like. I think that is lazy code. That's like, what would you do differently here, right? So if you were going to create this is the link to the conference. This is probably the smart way to do it, a UUID. We'll just UUID like this. Maybe a UUID 32. Those things, the chance of collision on UUID 32 is like, it's the same chance as throwing like a bowling ball out into space, and somebody on Mars throws another bowling ball and those things collide, right? Like it's a very low chance of collision. You're probably going to be pretty safe there. So that's your link. How hard would it be to say like, I have to generate a token for each attendee, right? So you just invite people in. So now your new link looks like this. It looks like UUID, question mark, T equals another UUID. Because like really, if I don't think they were doing this, I would really like to know what they're doing. I bet they didn't want 32 character long links. I bet that they wanted like a UUID 8. Because I just saw that, Zoom link with password. Right? So it looks like this is what happened. People were setting up Zoom calls without passwords. And they were sending them out. And then they're like, somebody hacked into my Zoom call that was actually public. Right? Because they didn't want to set passwords up or whatever. They didn't want to, just whatever. Because there we go. There's meeting ID. So that's tiny boy. That's 9 numbers. 9 numbers. So that's a tiny, 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 tiny amount of space. Even 10 numbers. That's a personal meeting ID. I wonder if that's whatever, something different. But so, okay, so we know there's 9 numbers. 9 numbers. So it would be really easy, right? Scan from 000000000 to 999. That's only 999 million. It sounds like a lot, but it's only 999 million or a million. We could even say, a billion potential numbers to pick from. That's not that many. That's not that many to just guess on. Like, you could probably do requests passively to just look for headers that would tell you if that's a thing. Right. So Comet Blazer, that's another thing. So the kid has a police force. This kid edited a hyperlink for a government site to access unprotected content, and the government freaking threw him in jail. Or they wanted to. Yeah, he wasn't hacking anything. You're not hacking anything. You're just taking advantage of somebody not setting a password. So what's really weird about that, we can really quickly decipher that, right? I don't know if anybody doesn't agree with me, but this is what I would say. Zoom wasn't hacked. It was shitty code / trusting the user to set a password. So what they could have done to avoid all this crap is just like, you only can invite people into calls. For a $33 billion company or $34 billion company, that should be, a discussion that comes up. They may have just said like, well, we don't want to have everybody type in a password. So then the other thing they could have done, they could have just had that link. They could have said, well, you can't invite people to conferences. You can't just give somebody a conference ID. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use a token. And we're going to mail out invitations to everybody, or we're going to give you a list of invitations that you can mail out or whatever. And that would widen out this space, It's a really interesting thing. I don't see this as this is not a hack. But what I think is crazy about it is like Zoom, if you were just type in like Zoom video, and then we go to news. Look at this. Gotta improve privacy. Look at this. Problem with privacy. That's a good one. That's a positive one. Don't use it. It's not safe. Don't use it. Google said don't use it. Most of it is these guys being like, don't use it. Oh, and then there's that's there. Okay. So I think, no, the point of the project isn't to fix Zoom security. It's just something I want to talk about. Because I don't know, it really pisses me off. It pisses me off that this is like a tech story. Because what happens is these stupid writers, tech writers in the media, they just jump on and they're like, yep, it was hacked. When in reality, it wasn't hacked. It was just users not using the product correctly, right? It's like, do you really go after a knife manufacturer because somebody cuts their finger, And you're in the UK, aren't you, Hacksify? Didn't they just change all the knives over there to not have sharp points at the end? Like they're all like blunted off at the end now. Because that's the thing. I'm sure you're used to the knife Blunted. I don't know. You're used to the weird thing. There we go. Blunt knives. Let's just blunt the knives. Yep. No more. Just nice rounded things. Can't stab anybody with that. Can't stab them. It's just, you gotta slice them. No more stabbing. Just slicing. Such a stupid thing. It's like just the nanification of the state. But what I think happened here, if I had to guess, Zoom, which has this soaring stock, which just sort of came out of nowhere, that just very quickly adopted to pick up this new challenge of all these remote workers, probably spent an unreal amount of money to make this happen. Hey, what's up, Yevon? Yeah, don't make me use Java again. Thanks. So I think they spent a lot of money. I think this is all marketing. This is definitely marketing. This is them being like, hey, get out there. Like, let's send out a bunch of emails. Let's run Facebook campaigns that say, like, working from home, use Zoom. It can do a solution here. And that's why they got a lot of adoption right up to here, right? Because there are other solutions you could use. You could use BlueJeans, which is not great. But the big player in the field is Cisco WebEx. Because if you're like, that's what the U.S. Senate should be using. They're the ones that have been around forever. They're the ones that, like, for sure know what they're doing. Like, super security oriented. It's usually a piece of flaming crap. And that's where this story kind of gets interesting. I think my guess, I'm pretty sure of it because it just makes sense from a media perspective. Anything that you're seeing negative about Zoom is likely you're seeing Cisco buying articles, because Cisco has a real reason not to like Zoom, a real reason. So if we look up Eric here, we'll look up his Wikipedia. So here's Eric Wan. In 1997, Wan joined Cisco WebEx. In 2007, he was the vice president of engineering of WebEx. Okay. As of March 2020, like, he's now running Zoom. I don't know. This is like pretty tiny Wikipedia article, but he went from WebEx and he now runs Zoom. I think he left Cisco and joined Zoom. These are two different companies, right? And I think Cisco is not too happy about that. And so they're looking for any chance to be like, look at how crappy Zoom is. And they're probably paying a lot of money to make that happen. Look at this stock, man. It's flying today. Freaking crazy. So let's move on, I guess. I just wanted to throw that out there. I think that this is like I think that it's like tech people, we can smell BS in these stories, but it's weird to see one happening in real time. It's like really weird. Look at this humble startup Zoom getting slammed by big boy Cisco. Let me just check. What's Cisco doing today? Poor Cisco. I mean, look at Cisco. Look at poor Cisco. Nobody cares about you, Cisco. Nobody cares. Look at you. You had your heyday back here, but now nobody cares. Anyways, so today we wanted to get into picking the next project. Now, this wasn't easy. We had a bunch of people submit stuff, a whole bunch, and we had some of our own ideas in there. And what we kind of did was, in the office, we discussed it. We looked at the results this morning. I can bring them up. We'll sort them. And we kind of said, like, okay, what are the ones that we really, really, really want to work on? Like, regardless of the votes, what are the ones that we want to work on? Obviously, anything that we proposed. So obviously, we wouldn't have proposed them if we didn't want to work on them. So I think that the vote count, I don't know how many votes there were, but you could vote for multiple things. We could only vote once. So we just wanted to make sure that we had a decent number. I think something like 40 total votes were cast. I don't know. but then you get like numbers like 6. So I think it might have been the literal total number of votes, like items picked. So let's get into it a little bit. So the top votes from the community was the Omatum token or coin came in first place. Media Monk, which is another thing we proposed, came in second. Critter tied for second. So Critter was Noah's idea, where we would have a connection to pet adoption centers, and sort of create this like swipeable left-right thing for adoption centers. I really shouldn't go back through and read all these yet, like what they do. Then we had this other one come in, Beyond Grave. So the ones that we were excited about, just right off the bat as I go through them, we were excited about Critter. I was excited about Beyond Grave. We were excited about Smidgen, but can't work on it because the guy it's his product, it's his own product, and he just wanted us to design it. So after that, we've got Clickbait Killer, which I'm not super excited about it. I think it'd be fun to work on. It kind of came in this middle area. Go to Escrow, not super excited about it. New Internet Design was one of ours. Chattervision, not super excited about it, but almost like Chattervision functionality meets Media Monk, which is one of our other thing. I'm kind of excited about exploring that as a potential thing. We have the clickbait news answers that didn't come in great either. The micro tool for splitting videos up got 1 vote. Okay, sure, nobody cares. Mostly Zach wants it. So that's probably Zach voting. I don't know. That really cool app to do things only got 1 vote. The app to do things. The really cool app that would find places for you to go when you're on a road trip, that only got 1 vote, which is crazy because I thought that was an amazing idea. But it's a huge project. It is a huge project. Like that's spend the next 6 to 12 months on it project. The thing that even the thing of find the cheapest, safest place to live in the USA got 1 vote. And then there's these guys down here that got 0 votes. So let's not even talk about these ones because they got 0 votes. Sorry, guys. So if we move back up and we say, okay, we've got these ones, these are the ones that we're actually excited about. Things that we know we have capabilities to build, things that we know would fit inside of kind of the work that we like to do. Like nothing's weird here. Nothing's like a game. Nothing's, it's not a piece of hardware or anything like that. But there's some pieces of this that make it a little bit difficult to kind of ice through them. I think that Beyond Grave, I liked it a lot, but it was a little too big. To make that really work, the business model of it is complex. I don't think that's something you sell to people, because Beyond Grave was this service that essentially when you die, it would send messaging out to all these different things that you pre-approved, preset. So you could put a bunch of emails in there and say like, I'm going to write an email to this person. Don't send it out till I'm dead. There's some real question marks around it. Like, how does that work? How do you make it function? So there's a lot of questions there. But again, it's a little too big because the business model isn't probably selling this thing on Facebook. It's probably not like cold calling. The best way you could sell this thing is you could sell it to lawyers. So you probably would have to look at a sales pitch that went to people that make wills, people that make estates, probably some onboarding for them. It just becomes a little more complicated. And again, it's a little too big. It's something that we'd love to work on in the future though. Smidgen, we just can't work on it because we're only working on stuff where we have 100% ownership. Chattervision, again, looks like it would fold into Media Monk. So like this is probably something we'd want to work on, but make it a feature inside of the Media Monk web version or something we could add on, because Media Monk is sort of like a platform type approach. This is kind of interesting. So Comet Blazer, you had asked, when I call Media Monk content fully searchable, what do I mean? Imagine if you're watching a video and things are happening in the video and they're described to you. Like if you had an image, let's just say movie, I'm searching for thing. So this is combining the Slayer's idea of books that we can find out what book is in the scene. So you would have this image, right, that would be video going on, but people could go in and tag it and say that this is the actor that's in it. They could say that they're reading a book, that they're sitting down, that it's just as many things as possible to kind of describe video content, going way beyond it's a simple transcript. And our idea was that like it could be as simple as possible as just saying who the actor is, what they're doing, you know, if there's a joke that takes place, or as complicated as possible as like actually going in and saying like this chair is a Burberry chair, it's a rug, etc. And what we thought would be cool about it is we think by doing that we could create a search engine for videos in a sense. Just like you can easily search through Wikipedia, but you can't easily search through YouTube. On YouTube, you're more or less restricted to the way somebody titles a video, the description of the video, the tags in the video, and potentially a transcript, right? But how many times in my stream have I opened up an app and like you don't know what it is, and I never mention it, so it never makes it to a transcript. So you would never know. You don't know. But if that footage was being tagged, described, etc., this would, you know, be a good solution for it. Sorry, I'm vomiting out because I want to show you guys something. So like this is what Rob did yesterday during the stream. This is how he can edit the stream. So he goes through and he did 156 different items in here to help him edit it. But if this were described the right way, it could also help people search it. So that's the idea. And right now, Zach is doing the one for today. So this is something we deal with all the time, but we thought it could make a cool product. So with that in mind, like I think Media Monk is something we can't work on right now because it's too big. We're only looking for something that's like up to a week, and we might do a couple of projects that are up to a week. But for now, we're not working on anything that's going to take 30 days. I think Media Monk is a 30-day project. Maybe more, maybe less, but I think there's a lot we could work on for that. I think it's a really cool idea, and I'm glad to see that it was up near the top. So we looked at Critter, and Critter from the community perspective, I think is our community winner, I guess, our community pick. That wasn't our projects, right? But Critter has a little bit of a problem right now that I'd be reluctant to make this the next thing we get into. And I'm going to give Noah, if he wants to do it, some work. We need API access to some sort of adopt a pet type thing. If we can get that, I think that this might be the next thing we work on. So not the current thing that we're going to be working on next week, but the next thing after that. That is if we want to do another small project. Because I think, genuinely, I think Critter is it's like a 4-day build. It'd be a lot of fun. So out of this, what we kind of came out with was the one we got the most excited about in the office was the Omatum token or coin, making our own crypto. So that's what we're going to do. So starting next week, we will make our own crypto ? Because I have no idea how it works. None. Zero. So I think it could be a really fun thing to kind of move through with you guys. Like really fun. And I don't know. Today we could do some light research, but I'm going to have to do research like all weekend and on Monday and Tuesday before the stream to be like, how does this even work? Because I don't know. Do you guys know how crypto works? I understand it a little bit. I own crypto. I know that essentially like there's a blockchain. I kind of understand the purpose of the blockchain, but I don't know anything else about it. So I can we'll go through some of that on Tuesday during our research session, but I just have big questions. Like I even put in the thing, is it a token or a coin? There's a difference between these two things. I don't really know what it is. We're not trying to make a good cryptocurrency though. We're just trying to make like the ultimate meme coin. So like a token versus coin. Okay, so coins are native to their own blockchain, whilst tokens are built on top of like Ethereum. Okay. So we'll have to make that distinction of like, how are we going to do this and what's it going to look like and the whole shebang. Would it really, really take a long time why does it take so long to make a cryptocurrency? Why does it take so long? I don't understand. Why would it take so long? What do we have to do to make it take so long? I just can't imagine it's more than like 10 lines of code. Like make dot coin name. You just name it and then issue some coins. But I would more or less want to know more about the difference between these two things. I guess like if we make tokens versus coins. So what would be like the restriction of making a token? I just want to tie it to something. I don't want it just to be like, oh yeah, we got 1 million of these things. You know what I mean? I want to tie it to something. It would be really interesting to like say like, oh, a coin or whatever it is that our crypto is like, our crypto is actually tied to, I don't know, how many days there are in the year or something, or it's tied to like corn production. Is that something we could do? I don't really know. Whoa, get out of here. I'm just so new to all this. And if you think it's kind of crazy to me. So comment, there's no like copy paste. Could we copy and paste all the Dogcoin code and just call it Omatum coin? Like, why can't you just do that? Yeah, can we just fork out like one of these existing projects? I have some Ether, so I have some of that. I don't have a lot. It's not going to be copyright infringement, is it? I don't think it's copyright infringement. MIT license, baby. Do whatever you want with it. It's free real estate. Just do whatever you want with it. We'll just change this. We'll just fork the repo, change that to the Omatum logo, and every place that says Doge, we'll just call it Omatum. Right? How many lines of code is this thing though? Because this is already more files than I thought it would be to get into this thing. Oh, whoa! Hold on a second. That is a lot of code. Whoa! Oh, Jesus! But couldn't we just copy paste this? Yeah, look at them. They took it from Bitcoin. Like, yeah, we'll just take that. That's mine now. It's my code. If we just keep poking in Bitcoin, let's poke in another one. Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't want to make it like this isn't. So just to be clear, I don't want to make it like a thing that you'd actually buy. We're not going to try to become millionaires off this thing. I think it would be fun to work on it. Why can't we just do Dogcoin? Omatum Dogcoin. We could sell the cryptocurrency to preppers. That's the thing. So is that the thing? If we had, Slayer's got the right idea. If we had if we just sort of just said, hey, we're making a token, there's 1 billion tokens or whatever, right? Because the little I do know is that tokens, you just say like, oh, it's an Ethereum token. It just backs out on the Ethereum network. If we make that token though, can we give that to people? Can we like say, oh, you don't mine it because it's a token? Is that the main difference? I don't even know what mining is. How does it make sense? Your computer turns electricity into money. It doesn't really make sense to me. It turns math and electricity into money. That's my definition of crypto. Oh, and this is the other thing, right? So if we have a coin, we could get screwed because of we need a bunch of people to be working on the coin. Okay. Tokens are used to interact with decentralized applications that are built on top of the blockchains. A good example is the Civic. Whoa, they got Civic.com? What? How much money you got to have buy Civic.com? Honda couldn't even buy it. And Honda's got money, man. They got old school Shogun money. Civic.com. Wow. So they're doing something on this, but this looks like they're well funded or something. I'm just not sure. I'm gonna have to read a lot. A CVC token is used to basically confirm a transaction ID. That makes sense to me. But what if we want to make it really memey? So that's what I'm looking for. If we can do a token that essentially we could say like we want to create more of them, that would be great. And if we wanted to be like the sole source of distribution for that, right? That's what I'm thinking. That we just be the sole distributor of it. That way we're not looking at this weird thing of mining and whatever the heck else we need to figure out. So security tokens, this is the one you can't do anymore, right? You can't have a token as a security or else you go to federal pound you in the butt prison. Equity tokens is probably also a security, or maybe the word security here. I'm thinking of security like security exchange, like stocks. If a token represents some stock or equity in the company, it's an equity token, right? Because this article is probably a little old because it's not because there's not much regulatory guidance. The regulatory guidance now is saying like, oh, if you're giving away equity in your company in some way, shape, or form, you are turbo fucked when it comes to SEC compliance. You're basically publicly trading your company, and now you're subject to all this regulation. Utility tokens, application tokens, they are used to provide people with access to either a product or service. This might be the one we look at. They're rare because most tokens are expected to gain in value based on their limited supply. So there's limited supply there. Payment tokens have no other purpose than to pay. Maybe we look at these. So maybe these two are the ones we look at. Oh, and tokens could fall into multiple categories. So I guess the question is like, if we did a token, can we create more tokens? Do we need a crypto? I think we're going to build a crypto, but would we need one if we just wanted like frequent flyer points, basically? I think it's kind of fun because you could store them up, because like right now you've got these channel point things. And so like, did Twitch are these blockchained? I wonder, like, did they make these as a crypto thing, or is this more like a just like a internal Twitch thing? What's your crazy idea, Slayer? So we can build a tradable thing based entirely off a token and being over excessive. Token of money is confirmed by a token which trades two other tokens. Oh, so Slayer, that's not a bad idea, man. If we made a crypto on Discord that you could use for the channel, that'd be really interesting, right? Like if we had, and we're gonna have to brainstorm it more, but that's the kind of thing that we're sort of throwing around. And I think next week we'll kind of present the idea, or at least the outside of the idea we have for it, because we're not sure on it yet. That was sort of the idea we were throwing around. Like if we had our own token, how could we make it have some utility? How do we make it have some sort of a value? So you'd have like a reason to get them. So like on our Omatum Bucks thing, which you probably should take down, other than the service stuff, like it was like, yeah, you could have me design a logo on stream. We'll send you a sticker. We don't have any stickers, so please God don't click that button. We'll send you a shirt. We don't have any of those either, so please don't click it, but I'll buy you one. It'll take like 6 weeks. I'll make you one. I'll make you a shirt, or a hat, right? Just these ideas of like, sure, there's stuff we could give people. So what if we could extend that idea outside of this? Something about H&C? What is H&C? What is this? H&C looking at cryptocurrency makes me kill like a child. What do you mean? H&C? What does H&C stand for? Hammer and cabbage? Oh, there's something that we need to make sure though. We do not want to go to prison. That's a important piece. We also don't want to go get sued. Like, we just want to make it really sure that this is just a, experiment into this. So this is this is one of the ideas they're exampling here is Music Coin, a token that allows users to access different features of the Music Coin platform. This could be watching a music video or streaming a song, right? So that guy that had the Binks had this idea for Smidgen, which is a great idea, and he could create Smidgen Coin or whatever, just call it Smidgen, and it's a token just to hold the value of it, right? So I think wouldn't the primary advantage of creating a crypto thing be that like the value doesn't live in a database, right? It's like it's not in a database. It could be referenced to in a database, but it doesn't live there. It lives in this publicly accessible thing. You can ask it what the wallet balances are or whatever, and it can tell you. It would show the record of all these transactions. So you could have if you built up a big service on your hardware, and you had a bunch of software attached to this hardware, and that hardware caught on fire, you would still have a record of the tokens and all that stuff. So it's kind of like a permanent way to use it. And wouldn't it also provide cross-functional whatever? Like, it'd be easy to see tokens on Discord and on YouTube and on Twitch and on your phone and all that stuff, because that can just query against the blockchain. I don't know how any of this stuff works. It can just query like sort of like this central thing, and it will say, oh yeah, that's the balance. And that central thing isn't something we have to host. Am I right about that? Like, it's just out there attached to Ethereum. Slayer, you submitted 11 ideas yesterday. We need to get you to go slower with those ideas and make them more practical. I don't know. But I like this idea. I like this sort of like private channels on the Discord that those in the community can access once they accrue enough tokens. Yeah, because maybe tokens aren't like, they're just a way to show that you're a community member, right? So we could have like, we don't really have enough people in our community yet, but when we have a lot more, that would be a cool way to do it. Like, so to say I'm on a Discord right now. It's got like 6,000 people in it, and there's like a senior level that you can reach on that thing. That's like a private chat room. You got to be around for a while to get in there. We are not making a COVID-19 token, but that's an interesting idea. The closer you get to people, it just starts siphoning out your tokens. The farther away you are from any individual on Earth, the more you get in terms of tokens. People go out to the Pacific Ocean, millionaires. I just don't know enough about this, so we're going to have to read up on it. The other thing I guess we could go through is, like, I would love for you guys to talk about this in Discord. Let me see if we can shill that Discord link. I can't believe, what is up with my Muxy bot? It does not notify when I go on live stream anymore. That's weird. It's just done. Dude, you can't just be thinking about working on something like this. It's time sensitive. You got to be working on it right now. So we have our Discord. Like, make sure you join that. And if you guys want to help out, we're really trying to get more people to subscribe to our YouTube. It sounds silly, but we're really trying to make a business out of this in a way. Like, in order for us to be able to work on silly projects and products, we're not asking for any money, no money. We're just asking you to go click on the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. That's it. That's the only thing that we're asking for. Like, you can watch videos on there if you want to, but it would be great if you did and you liked and commented and all that stuff, because it helps us take off. But we are so far away from making money with this thing. It's going to take 18 months to grow a YouTube channel to anywhere where it's oh yeah, we're paying for stuff now. But that's really the goal. Is we want to be making content that you guys want to see, but we don't have to look at every project as it's got to make money or the company sinks. We want to kind of have the freedom to do projects like Omatum Crypto and Critter, which I don't think we can make any money off of Critter. It's maybe we were talking about it yesterday, and we were we'll probably just give that away. We'll probably make it and contact adoptapet.com and just say, hey, you guys want to use this thing? Here you go. That's yours. That's yours. We'll put your logo on it. It's yours. And some of these things like Beyond Grave, it might not make a lot of money, but we want to execute this stuff correctly, right? So Boston, you had asked, is MAGA over? So MAGA's name is no longer MAGA, because that was a horrible idea to name something after a political thing. I literally got screamed at for wearing that hat. Crazy people out there just couldn't understand it was a joke, or not even a joke, just it's not that thing, guy. It's not that thing. The hat's not even red. So MAGA we changed the name of it to Doronki, which was a weird name, but we got a strong domain name for it and all that. And we can't really work on it right now, Boston. I really want to. But yesterday we had a stream where I kind of went through what happened with that, and Rob is editing that stream right now. And if you just watch our YouTube, we're gonna do a video should be coming out probably tomorrow, I'm guessing. That's just here's what happened. And you don't have to watch through a 5-hour-long stream. Rob's gonna cut that all down and kind of give the update right there. And it kind of goes into what happened. But the gist of it is we had a back-end developer lined up for it, and he flaked. Well, he didn't really flake. He just didn't work out. And I decided there's really no way I could build that really nice front end, plus start to work on additional services for it, without somebody maintaining the back end. So we started to look for a back-end developer. And then the whole COVID-19 thing blew up, and that was the end of that. So something we want to get back to. It's definitely the strongest project idea that we have. It's we're not looking to make, $1 billion off anything that we're creating, but it's the one where I can easily see that without much marketing or anything like that, having a consistent user base, and there's plenty of people who'd want to use it. I think everybody in here could use it. It's a fun tool. Imagine you don't have to worry about managing Vagrant anymore, or building your local VMs. And imagine you don't worry about sending your stuff off to AWS, DigitalOcean, or whatever. You just hit a button, boom, it's there. No server setup, just there. What's really interesting, Boston, is Nanobox. I don't know what they're doing, man. We did an audit on it, and it's just they went over to DigitalOcean over a year ago, and nothing's really happened. Their service still kind of works, but it's they haven't really released anything. They haven't updated anything in 12 months. Pretty weird. So Slayer, you asked, can you send a notification to a nearby NFC-enabled device via your NFC-enabled phone? It's very short range. Bluetooth is a good way to find local devices. So is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi will give you a decent idea if there's another Wi-Fi device near it. But the problem is on phones, the pole distance is a little long, and it's not terribly reliable on phones. So you'll poll for what devices are out there, and it's really hard to get telemetry on that. Not telemetry, triangulation on that. We had a project we were scoping out once where we were going to do, we were trying to see, it's a simple thing if we could see, is could we using certain things. Like, could we put a Wi-Fi something in every room in somebody's house, and then just by the Wi-Fi trying to identify, or just by that Wi-Fi signal being there with your phone, could your phone identify what room you were in based on just the one device per room emitting something? Could your phone kind of like say, hey, you're in the kitchen? And we could not get it to work. It was just like the phones weren't precise enough, and they'd have false positives and the whole thing. I didn't even think about using Bluetooth. That might be the way to do it, because Bluetooth's the way less transmission range. We tried some weird stuff trying to get that to work. We're going to use sound frequency, right? We figured we could just blast out like really high frequency sound, inaudible. Don't do that. Your ears still take it in. Your ears definitely still take in the noise. You just can't hear it. We were doing that, and I was like, oh, I had like the worst headache. My ears felt like they were like bleeding out. So did anybody have anything that they wanted to chat about? I think that was all we're going to do for the stream today, is just sort of this short, like, we're going to be trying this cryptocurrency thing out. I'm going to be jumping into research on that. And then next week we'll come back on stream and we'll actually do it. We just didn't want to start this week because I think there's too much research I have to do up front, and I've got to just really put my big boy brain on. Well, okay, I'll take that silence as nobody knows. Guys, it was good. I'm really glad everybody did submit stuff. We had 37 submissions total. We're going to keep looking at this list as time goes on. Again, I think what we're going to do is first the coin, then maybe something like Critter or Beyond Grave. That could be fun. And we're just going to keep kind of like ticking off some small projects until we jump into the big boy of Media Monk. But everything on here, I was so glad that so many people submitted, and I honestly don't think that there were really bad ideas. There were tiny ideas, but it's cool to see the community. You guys have very creative minds and sort of product-oriented minds, project-oriented minds. Because even some of this stuff where you're just like, oh, is that something that somebody would use? Doesn't matter if somebody would use it. If it fixes something, if it solves a need for one person, come on, that's pretty cool. If you can make a thing that for one person works, that's pretty cool. I'd encourage some of you guys, if any of you guys submitted and you want to take the project into your own hands, just let me know. We'll try to help you out any way we can. We're just not going to be able to throw labor at it. But the community we got some smart people in here. We can help like ideate it. We can help kind of get a plan together for you. But if not, we're maybe over the next couple years, these are the projects we can work on, and be kind of fun. Anyways, guys, check out our YouTube, check out our Discord. I will see you folks next week. I'm going to get a stream schedule up, but just chat in Discord and we'll let you know when we're thinking we're going to do it. It's going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, 1 p.m. All right. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good day. What is the proper? It's usually night when I stop doing this. Take care, guys. See you later.